We bring in our panel to discuss Palo Alto Networks. Lisa Schreiber, investment analyst at Gradient Investment, and Mitch Ashley, vice president, practice lead for software lifecycle engineering at Futrum. Thank you both for being here. Mitch, I'll start with you. I mean, it certainly seems that the platform strategy is paying off for Palo Alto. We're seeing the stock up over 3% today, jumping. What do you think in the world of cybersecurity? Is it still a leader, and why?
Well, you know, it's one thing to say you want to be a platform company. It's a much different thing to execute on it. And since really 2018, it's a pretty remarkable performance in that area, because platforms oftentimes are just a collection of products, you know, a series or a catalog or a suite of products. But customers expect a lot more from platforms. They expect products that are already pre-integrated to work together. More importantly, they expect a data fabric, some way of sharing information, because now in today's world with security the way it is, any process has to be able to go across organizational silos. We don't need the data silos of the past. And I think the way they perform financially has really shown how they're doing it in the market. People are not buying single security products anymore.
And look, the company's a large pure play when it comes to U.S. cybersecurity. It says in one of the articles, outstripping the other guys, CrowdStrike and Cloudflare. Of course, they had the CyberArk acquisition. What do you think, Lisa? Is this a real winner? Is it a cybersecurity dominant player in the future?
Yes, absolutely, Nicole. I think Palo Alto is absolutely killing it here on the financial side. And it was especially very important for them to beat their earnings and also give positive guidance here. As you mentioned it, the CyberArk deal that got announced a little bit earlier last month failed to induce a whole lot of investor excitement after fears that there is integration risk ahead, and after fears that they may have gotten a little bit ahead of themselves. I am more in the camp of this will be an absolutely great opportunity as it opens them up for the in the space of the identity security space, where they haven't had a whole lot of opportunities and offerings yet. And it's really moving more into a consolidation and being really a player for their customers across the whole cybersecurity landscape, as opposed to being more fragmented. And as businesses are wanting to be, and we see a trend of them being to be a little bit more simplistic and more integrated with one vendor, Palo Alto, and I can really see the strategy here moving to be a one-stop shop, which is great opportunities ahead, as it is the leader in that space. And with the CyberArk deal announced, that opens even more opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, I did read that there are some game-changing characteristics pertaining to this CyberArk deal, and while some of Wall Street were balking at the price tag and the stock sold off, in the end, the analyst community is pretty much on board because of some of these characteristics that you're describing. What about some of these other names, Mitch? When we mention Cloudflare and, you know, CrowdStrike, for example, do you like all these names or not necessarily?
Well, each has their own individual strengths, Nicole. Certainly Cloudflare, kind of thinking them as coming out of the content distribution networks, but they've had a lot of security to their products. They've also aligned more closely with developers so they can develop more of their applications into the cloud itself. You know, CrowdStrike is, you know, did well financially in their most recent reportings, but they still have kind of a lingering Falcon issue over their head, though I think customers are moving on and kind of going past that. I think the thing for Palo Alto is really to differentiate both on execution, but also on not leaning too far into we want to be your single vendor and supply all of your security products. And while CyberArk's a big addition because identity is sort of what connects all the dots of what's happening inside of security and inside of networks and applications, AI agents, all of the above, it's a really important part of it. Also, organizations, you know, because of digital sovereignty issues, don't want to rely on a single vendor in one market, in one area. And of course, so many global organizations have to work with multiple vendors. So it's easy to want to be the main supplier, maybe the only supplier to organizations, but most organizations really can't operate fully in that mode.
while some of the Wall Street analysts are pretty happy with what they saw from Palo Alto, Raymond James just noted that, look, they didn't knock it out of the park. They're not killing it. They didn't beat it as handily. The numbers beat as handily as they had hoped, even though it was, in fact, a beat. They'll take it. That was the one nitpick moment for Palo Alto. I will add here, Lisa, that are companies willing to spend in the same way? I mean, are they getting spending fatigue on cybersecurity tools, cybersecurity teams, and labor? Are they going to start cutting back and then paying the ultimate price?
Yeah, Nicole, you mentioned something very important here, which I think is a great opportunity for the whole cybersecurity space at all. Because when we think of the whole AI trend and where it's going, it really is, I would say the cybersecurity space, and especially Palo Alto, is kind of a backdoor AI play without being too much exposed to it. And that can go either way, right? Increase efficiencies within cybersecurity companies in offering better products, being more integrated, but also when we look at AI, it changes day by day. It increases the threats and risks that that businesses are dealing with by the day. As we think of the threats are getting more creative, more intelligent, it keeps businesses on their toes, and really important for them to keep on up to date with the whole cybersecurity. And I think that is a great backdrop going forward for the whole space, because even if we see a little slowdown economically for businesses, harder times ahead maybe, I think cybersecurity is not the first on the chopping block for sure, because they need to be up to date here as the threat environment gets more and more complicated by the day, which really opens up a lot of opportunities for the whole space.
Yeah. Lisa, thank you. Lisa Schreiber, Mitch Ashley, wonderful to see both. Really appreciate that. Good look at cybersecurity overall.